Hi, everyone. My name is Courtney Helfrich, and I'm the Executive Director here at True North Society in Strathmore, Alberta. We're a local domestic violence agency who supports all people fleeing domestic violence for over 30 years. In honor of Sexual Assault Awareness Month here in Alberta this May, we are going to be sitting down with Erin Brassard, the founder of Stand ASA, or Stand Against Sexual Assault, a local organization that supports survivors of sexual assault in our community and surrounding areas as well. We're going to be talking about our partnership, what we can do as organizations and community members to create a safe environment for all. The impacts of intimate partner sexual violence can be severe and long-lasting for victims. Physical assault can cause injury, serious health conditions, sexually transmitted infections, and sometimes even death. Some of the social and economic impacts are the shame, stigma, pressure for social health and justice-serving programs, and also the psychological impacts, including depression, PTSD, anxiety, fear, and low self-esteem, and ultimately suicide. Okay, so Erin Brassard is the founder of Stand ASA, a survivor-led Canadian charity dedicated to supporting individuals impacted by sexual violence through peer support, holistic healing programs, and education. Driven by lived experience and a passion for advocacy, Erin created Stand ASA to provide trauma-informed support, foster community connection, and help survivors reclaim their strength and voice. Through leadership, awareness initiatives, and wellness programming, Erin continues to champion a future where survivors are believed, supported, and empowered. Thank you for being with us today, Erin. We're really looking forward to chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
What we wanted to start with was what inspired you to start this organization, and what was the moment you realized you wanted to turn your experience into advocacy?
So for me, it actually wasn't about my own experience. What happened was I had a younger family member who I love with my entire being confide in me what had happened to her. She was just out of high school. And when she was telling me what had happened, she was blaming herself. She was like, I shouldn't have gone with him. I drank so much. And I wanted to shake her and tell her that nothing she did was her fault. And in that moment, I realized, one, that everything that had happened to me wasn't my fault either. And I didn't want to continue to stay silent. I didn't want other people to suffer in silence. So that was the night that I kind of decided that I wanted to do something about sexual violence. And I went home and I started researching and just looking up sexual assault. And for someone who had been assaulted so many times in their life, I had no idea about anything about sexual assault. I had no idea how common it was. I didn't know it was about power and control. I always thought it was about sex. And so I just started learning, and I started talking about my experience for the very first time.
Wow.
Every time I talked about what had happened to me, I had at least one person confide in me what happened to them. And it always usually started with, I finally have someone I can tell, because they knew I had been through it. So they knew I would believe them and I would never judge them. And that's when I saw the need for peer support. So I started researching and looking for anywhere that offered peer support, and nowhere in Western Canada did. I found it in Ottawa, and me and a couple of my girlfriends who have also experienced sexual violence traveled to Ottawa and learned about what programs they were offering, and then we brought their education and brought their programming back to Alberta.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Stan does so much for this community and surrounding communities. And, you've talked a little bit about your peer support. I'm wondering if you could maybe expand on that a little bit more, and just the other programs and services that Stand offers to the survivors.
Yeah, for sure. So we started off with peer support. Our individual peer support is phone calls once a week for up to 18 sessions. A few differences between our programming and other programs is ours is completely confidential and anonymous. So you never ever have to tell us your real name, where you live, how old you are. There's no intake form. So it allows people to be more open about their experiences or what has happened to them. Something I like to tell people who contact us is you never have to tell us what happened.
Mm-hmm.
You are the expert in your own healing. You lead the conversations when you are connected with a peer support mentor.
Mm-hmm.
It is just an open space to talk about whatever you need to talk about that is going to help you, to someone who can understand what you're going through, can help you navigate the different resources that are out there and really validate your experience.
Mm-hmm.
As a survivor, I always found it really hard to talk to anybody about what had happened to me or how it was affecting me,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to burden them, and I didn't want them to upset them, because I know they would be upset hearing about how I was feeling and what had happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So having someone that you can talk to, I think, is huge, just to kind of walk the journey with you.
Definitely. Yeah, especially someone who like understands what you've been through and can really provide that space to listen.
Exactly.
And yeah, absolutely.
And then from there it kind of grew. We do group peer support, so we have a psychologist who actually runs a program once a month where she goes over a different topic for the first half, and then the second half everybody shares how they're experiencing that specific topic. And there's a lot of healing in knowing that other people are experiencing exactly what you are, and you're not the only one going through it. And then the last thing is, I really have realized that every single survivor heals differently. So what works for one person isn't going to work for someone else. So we offer a variety of holistic healing workshops. And they range from like a rage workshop where you literally go in, pick a weapon, pick a song, and smash shit, to
Wow.
yeah,
I love that.
and that's a young girls one. Like
Yeah.
the young girls really love that one. To like healing yoga and meditation and breath work. We also do 3-day retreats and 2-day equine retreats.
Nice.
And art therapy is a big one.
Yeah.
And then we have a 3-month subconscious imprint technique somatic healing group as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're doing so much for survivors and the community. It's just really powerful. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
What misconceptions about sexual assault continue to be harmful?
Oh, so many. I would say, instead of listing all the misconceptions, I would say one thing that has been really, really hard for me as a survivor and an advocate is the Hockey Canada trial. I was not surprised by the verdict, but what was really shocking and extremely upsetting to me was that victim was blamed for over an hour by that judge and created victim shaming. And then that trial sent a message to to Canada and everyone in Canada that, number one, you're not going to be believed if you come forward, and number two, it's okay what those hockey players did. And no one should think that it is okay for a group of guys to get a young girl into a hotel room who is under the influence or not under the influence. I don't actually care if you're under the influence or not. And then have those things happen to her and say that was okay. So that is rape culture. And that was just, we took so many steps backwards that day. So that kind of is just something that came up with that question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's those types of like big, high profile cases that really can continue to perpetuate like harmful beliefs and misconceptions just around violence and sexual violence specifically.
100%. And it also, so that made me think of one more thing. So a lot of the times when I go into schools or sports teams and I do a prevention ending sexual violence 101, and we talk about myths and facts, and the one that always comes up is that males are really concerned about being wrongfully accused of sexual assault. And they believe this because our society has told them that they should be scared of this. You have Donald Trump saying, it is so scary to be a 16-year-old boy right now. And it is hard for me to explain to them that it's actually, you're more likely to be hit by lightning 4 times than to ever be falsely accused of sexual assault. But you as a male have a 1 in 16 chance of experiencing sexual violence. So what should you be scared of? But again, rape culture and this myth has created this idea and belief in so many men that they're going to be falsely accused of this, when in reality, that's just not true.
Yeah, so I think, that leads me right into my next question, just around like, what role do men and allies play in preventing sexual violence and supporting survivors overall?
Men play a huge role in this, and we need more men to step into this space. One way I explain it in my education, and I got into a fight with my husband about this once when I first started Stand, and I was like really, really passionate about everything I was doing. And he said, "You're acting like every man commits this crime." And I had to stop, and I had to take a minute and be like, okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to portray that. And the reality is less than 6% of men are committing this crime, but we have 58% of women experiencing it. And the reason those numbers like don't make sense in any way is because on average, a male has committed this crime 6 times by the age of 21. So because there's only, 6 or 8%, I can't remember the exact percentage, there's 90% of men that are able to say something and do something. And I think we all know that one person who might not be a perpetrator yet, but they have toxic behaviors and they're probably saying sexist jokes and things like that. And we need to stop at the root cause. So men and women can stop that behavior right there and say something about it and say it's not okay. Or if you have a friend who has done something, don't be friends with them. There's so many people that I know where they're like, they know this person has been accused of something and they are still friends with them or still believe them. It's a hard thing to do because that friend might be someone that you really like, but you have to start believing the survivors and we have to start not like supporting the perpetrators because they're the ones that are being supported and the victims are the ones that are suffering.
Well, I mean, accountability really comes to mind for me in terms of shifting this and really holding people accountable to what's right, and that violence is wrong no matter the form, and nobody deserves that. What challenges come with leading this work while also being a survivor yourself?
A lot.
I can't help but sit here and see just like the passion you have for this work, and just how much good you're doing for survivors that come into contact with you. And I can't imagine that it doesn't come with challenges as a leader, an advocate, a survivor.
Yeah, well, thank you. I do. It is a hard place to be in a lot of the time, because when this happens to you, you are suffering. It's not easy, and it can be lifelong. And I was really triggered last year with an injury and things that just came up for me. But helping support others can be very emotionally tolling. So it's important self-care, taking breaks, having other people around you that are supporting you. And then always, for me, what helps me is I know that the people are suffering that are coming to us, but I know that they're receiving the support that I never had. So their chances of living in pain and hurt for years are a lot less than I had. So when I'm in, schools and in junior highs and I share my story, and at the end of every single workshop in a classroom, I have at least one student come to me and share with me something that has happened to them. And it is heartbreaking, but I also realize that they are getting the support now, and they're not going to live in addiction for the next 10 years before they get help. So that's how I kind of get through those moments.
That makes sense. What can people do to support your organization or, the broader movement of shifting this culture and helping to create real change in the world?
I would say the number one thing you can do, I like to say, see something, say something. So when you see something happening or when you hear something, say something about it. If you're younger and you're in a school and you hear rumors that something happened to somebody, go to that person and see if they're okay. You know, ask them if they are okay. See if they need support. Tell them you believe them. Because most of the time, if anybody comes out, they're the ones that are not being believed and they're being shamed, and those are the people that need your support. Things like sexual harassment, I always say, you know, we witness sexual harassment all around us, right? Especially in schools.
That's
and
constant.
It's constant.
Yeah.
And when you're being sexually harassed, you feel this little, and it's really hard for you to find your voice to say something. So if you're witnessing it, find that voice and stand up for that person, because that person might not be your friend or whatever, but it could be.
And they didn't ask for it.
And no one asked for it.
No one ever asks for
it. The best way to think about it is perpetrators are choosing to commit this crime. They are choosing to hurt other people. Is how I think about it. And one thing, if you're ever thinking about getting help or anything like that, I always say, or if you're feeling like you're blaming yourself still, if something has happened to you, think if it had happened to someone you love, would you ever blame them? And then show yourself that love. Because it's really, really hard not to blame yourself because, again, of the society we live in. So I always remind myself of that question. And I always just say to myself, if what happened to me had happened to my best friend, would I ever think it was her fault in any way? And the answer is always no. And so, yeah, see something, say something. Always donate. We don't receive any government funding. So we really rely on donations. And yeah, open up the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, just partnership as well. Like, I think the work that you're doing in this community is so incredible, and you can't do it alone. You know, there is so much good to be done, and I think you're doing all of that great work, and we are absolutely here to connect with you, partner with you. I mean, there's a lot of intersectionality, although different spaces between, you know, sexual violence and domestic violence, and violence just in whatever form is never okay. And so we just really appreciate you like joining us today. Thank you so much for sharing everything.
You. And thank you for everything you guys do.
Yes.
Like, you guys are incredible in this community, and
we
all the work you do.
We appreciate you.
So,
well, thank you. Thank you. Being that it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month here in Alberta for May, is there anything that STAND is doing this month to, you know, recognize the month, offering any special programming? Do you want to talk to us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So we just released an awareness campaign video that we have been working on. It's called Voices of Hope.
Yes, I saw it. Yeah. So good.
Thank you.
So good.
And then we have big posters, and we're going to be around the community just raising awareness with this campaign. You can learn about it in the Voices of Hope video. And then we're also doing a fundraising event at the end of the month on May 30th. We're doing a spin and reset combo class at Hot Shop Yoga, and you can register for that online at Stand ASA.
Wonderful. If you're curious and want to get involved, please visit your website, standasa.com.
I believe. Standasa.com.
There's volunteer opportunities. There's a place there you can donate. Erin and her volunteers do wonderful, wonderful work in the community. And if you're also curious, visit truenorthab.com to learn more about domestic violence specifically, and how our organizations work together. Thank you.
Thanks.